What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about the iPhone 12 Pro, but also the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the camera improvements, the bigger sensor, it allowing more light into the sensor so it performs better in low light. And I've seen a lot of videos online, and I don't want to say they're spreading, misinformation, but I don't think they're doing the phone's camera justice. They're kind of doing it a disservice because a lot of these YouTubers are taking it out at nighttime, vlogging, and using the native app. Now, that's not something you want to do for many reasons. And this video isn't about crapping on the native app. You can get great images out of the native app, and there's a time when you should use it, and there's a time when you shouldn't. The native app is great for when you want to get a family picture or video, and you don't have time to, be all finicky with the settings and, get the ISO and everything. You need to capture that moment or you're going to lose it forever. That is when the native app is best, in my opinion. But when you have the ability to take your time and you want to get the best image possible, I would use an app like Filmic Pro, the Moment Camera app, ProCam, any one of those would be great. My app of choice is Filmic Pro. And like I said, the native app has a low bit rate. It's about, I think it's less than half of what you can get in Filmic Pro. It's like 50 or 60 megabytes per second. And in Filmic Pro, you can get anywhere from 100 to 150 depending on your phone. That's a huge difference in image quality. So when using the native app in low light conditions, it's going to bump up the ISO and you have no control over this, which will introduce more digital noise into your footage, and it's just going to look like mushy garbage. And that's what's happening in these videos when people are taking it out for a vlog, and that's fine. Do whatever you want with it. But I think it's kind of deterring people from using their phone to do short films and even some professional work when you can. You just have to use the right tools and the right apps at your disposal. The app that I use, Filmic Pro, allows me to, manually raise the ISO to my preferred setting, to set my shutter speed, to set my frame rate, resolution, all of that great stuff. Right in the app, and it's easy. And when this is done right, you will have vastly reduced the noise in your image. Now, there's always going to be some noise in iPhone footage that's unavoidable. The sensors are like microscopic compared to a DSLR or, God forbid, a cinema camera. So you're never going to fully get rid of the noise. But with the new phone and the much bigger sensor, it lets in like 87% more light. There's going to be a huge difference. And as long as you use the right apps and the right tools, like I said, you're going to get fantastic results. And being someone like me who likes to shoot short films, like horror films, most of the time you're going to be filming in darker situations. So you need that extra oomph in the sensor to give you better performance in that low light. So when I can, I will be getting that phone. But as of right now, I'm still using my 11 Pro, and that, even then, is great in low light as long as you light correctly. This is why lighting is so important. It's the second in my 3 tiers. It's sound is most important, then lighting, then the camera. Most people, I think, focus on the camera being number 1, then sound, and then lighting. Or actually, I think most people do camera, lighting, and then sound. Sound is most of the time neglected, and it shows. But also in Filmic Pro, you can shoot in a flat or log color profile. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to preserve some of the data that would be lost in the native camera app because it's just going to be shooting in a kind of natural color profile. Now, this isn't perfect. It doesn't make the image look as good as if you were using a cinema camera, but it does preserve some of the detail that would be lost in the shadows and the highlights. That's what I did for the shots I'm about to show you. Now, are these perfect? No. And you see, lighting and shot composition, it's all subjective. It's an art form. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Are there preferred guidelines that you should follow to get the best image possible? Yes, absolutely. There's a technique to it. But at the end of the day, if it looks good to you, that's all that matters. You're never going to please everybody. Some people are going to watch it and they're going to say, well, that looks like garbage. Other people will watch it and they'll be like, wow, that looks really good. I like that. So don't worry about trying to please people with, So let's take a quick look at those shots so I can show you what I'm talking about, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Open eye, Feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me.
Alright, now as you can see, all of those shots are usable. I think when I cranked up the light all the way, that's a little bit too bright for my liking. Some people might like that look, and that's fine. You should do what you think looks good. If I was going to shoot a horror movie and that was a scene in it with someone walking out into a dark hallway, I would want some shadows. You know, ever since, and this is the rant for the video. I always have one rant in a video. Ever since HDR has come on the scene, it's like people are afraid to like have data or objects lost in shadow in the frame. And I don't get it. Like, unless it's moving the story forward, it's a pivotal piece of information that you need. You don't need to see it. You know, it's just I don't get it. But I mean, that's the way they want to do things. That's fine. But don't feel just because everyone's talking about HDR and you know seeing into the shadows and all that, you need to do that. You don't. Some of the best movies and shows in history were made 30, 40 years ago, and HDR wasn't even a thing, I don't think, because there's tons of shadow in those films. And it's fantastic, especially classic horror movies. So it's like, I mean, watch the original Halloween. Look at how much shadow is in that film, and it works, because what you can't see is scary, right? I'm just trying to get this into people's heads. You can use your phone to film. Will it look as good as a DSLR or cinema camera? No, I never said it would. But it's usable. The phone image now is on par with the cameras that were being used 30 or 40 years ago to make these amazing films that are still highly praised to this day. So, yes, the phone's not as good as a Red or an Airy, but it's on par with the cameras they were using years ago. And that's more than enough to get you started. So that's my rant for today. Just trying to defend mobile filmmaking because I love it and I want more people to hop on board. So, love you guys. Thank you so much for watching as always. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.